Hey guys, Nabil here. As you probably know, Samurai Shodown was recently released on the Xbox Series, both Series X and Series S. Now this is not the same version that we had before because not only is it updated in terms of graphics and it looks a lot better, but it also introduces something we don't really see that often in fighting games: 120 FPS gameplay. When this was announced the first time, I was really skeptical and I was like, what are they doing? Why are we going with 120 FPS? Now, I don't have an Xbox Series X and the game came out a couple days ago and I really wanted to try it for myself to be the judge. Is this the future of fighting games, or is it just a gimmick that we're gonna forget with the next few releases? Well, before we talk about this even further, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you are notified whenever a new video from Neo Shodown drops. Now, as I said, I don't have an Xbox Series X. However, I asked my good friend Frionel, who owns an Xbox Series X and Samurai Shodown, to bring his console over. I do have 120 FPS television, but I don't, as I said, I don't have the game myself nor the Series X. So Frionel was kind enough to bring his Xbox Series and we were able to hook it up and try the 120 FPS Samurai Shodown. The first thing we noticed was that how smooth the gameplay is. It is just amazing. You know, like this is just like, it felt to me like going from 30 FPS to 60 FPS. It's just that same feeling. It's that there's smoothness on a whole other level. I'm not even gonna talk about how beautiful the game looks on the Xbox Series X because of the high graphics, the HDR, and this is the only HDR version of Samurai Shodown. Even the PC version, which is still exclusive to the Epic Games Store, does not have high dynamic range. So this one has HDR, 4K textures, looks beautiful, and again, the whole thing with the 120 FPS is just beautiful. It is really, really smooth. Now, the first thing I also noticed when I started playing the game is that I was missing some of the inputs. It felt a little bit tiny different. The timing seemed a little bit different than what I've been used to with 60 FPS, but it wasn't anything jarring or anything different. In fact, it really took me about a couple minutes before I started hitting my normal moves and combos normally as I would on a 60 FPS. Now, when we switched back to the PlayStation 4 version of the game, going from 120 FPS to 60 FPS, it was really jarring. We could see the difference immediately. It just felt like exactly going from a 60 FPS game to a 30 FPS. So that was a little bit, it took me a while to get used again to the 60 FPS mode. Is this the future of fighting games? Would the King of Fighters 15 have 120 FPS mode? I don't really know. But my answer to the first question is yes, 120 FPS is going to be the future of fighting games. But is it the immediate future? Absolutely not. See, in order to play the game in 120 FPS, not only do you need the Xbox Series X with the game for the Xbox Series X, but you also need a television or monitor that supports 120 FPS and support HDMI 2.1. Only few televisions at this time do support the new HDMI 2.1 standard. TVs like the OLED from LG's or the latest Samsung and other brands do support HDMI 2.1. So unless you have a top-of-the-line television that you bought in the last 2 years, you will not be able to experience 120 FPS. So yes, this is going to be the future, but it will take some time for people to have televisions and monitors that come with 120 FPS. Even monitors right now, a lot of the monitors that have 120 FPS are not 4K and they do not have HDMI 2.1. So it's going to be a while before this becomes the standard, but the future is really, really smooth. Now, one thing that I need to mention, and this is what I've been seeing, is that the game Samurai Shodown in Xbox Series X runs at 120 FPS whether you have a display for it or not. Now, what this means is if you don't have a display that supports 120 FPS, the game runs at 120 FPS from the console, it outputs it as 120 FPS and then it's converted to 60 FPS on the screen. The result is that the game feels a little bit smoother. However, you do have some screen tearing that you have to be aware of. the fact that it outputs in 120 FPS and converted to 60 FPS does reduce the input lag by half. But the screen tearing is real and it's really bothersome. Another problem that I've seen online, which I can't confirm right now and I haven't heard anything from SNK, is that the Xbox Series version of Samurai Shodown can only matchmake with players who have the same version, which means it's not backward compatible with the Xbox One X, which is a big problem because not a lot of people have the game on the Xbox Series X, seeing that the Series X itself or Series S are really difficult to find, as well as the PlayStation 5. Now I hope this is going to be fixed, I hope this is just a bug, but I'm not sure if this is due to the fact that the game runs at 120 FPS is the reason why it can't matchmake with people running the game on the Xbox One X at 60 FPS. But this brings the question, how do FPS games that some people run at 120 FPS, they still play against people playing on 60 FPS monitors? Now, I don't have the answer to that question, so you might know the answer. Let me know if that's the case in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think of this video. Are you excited about the future of fighting games running at 120 FPS? Let me know in the comment section. Before I end the video, I want to give a special thanks to Freonel for being kind enough to bring his Xbox Series X and got us to try the 120 FPS mode that changed my mind about the whole feature. With that said, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, thank you for watching.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video from NeoGeoNow. Now don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not done so, and I would like to take this opportunity and thank my patrons for supporting the channel and making this content possible. Making daily videos and especially the documentaries and lore episodes takes a very long time and a lot of effort, and being able to get some support for these time-consuming tasks allow me to keep going and strive for more and better content. With that said, I want to give a big special shout out to Michael, Bryant Yard, Fahad As-Suwaidi, Heinz Green 3, SSBM Slick Tricks, Jacques Paul, and Ken Suenaga. As well as special thanks to Shaka Asamiya, Refugio Robles, Felipe Guimara, Jihao Ju, Gil Sal, Muhammad Al-Blushi, Anthony Longino, and Bernd Ritnas. Those of you who are not yet NeoGeoNow patrons, I hope you will check my Patreon page where you can become patrons, helping the channel produce more videos as well as receive special perks that are exclusive to patrons, like early access to videos, exclusive making-offs, and other SNK digital goodies. Link for the NeoGeo Patreon page is in the description below. So until next time, thank you for watching.